It's been almost exactly a year since I got to try out the beta sample for Warrior, the new pre-workout from Nutrex's Warrior line. Last year we got to beta sample this product, and this year, last week, they re-released the product with a small change. Today we're going to talk about how that changes the formula for you. Now, we used to have a business relationship with Nutrex. We used to make sponsored content with them. We don't any longer, but when I saw the new formula for Warrior, I wanted to check it out and maybe make some content for you guys to understand it a little bit better. I reached out to Brady and I was like, hey, send me some of this product. So obviously this product was sent to me for free, but we don't have any sponsored content relationship going on with them right now. What you're gonna see obviously is an ingredient that I'm a big fan of. I talk a decent amount about, but this formula is an 8.8 gram formula that actually delivers pretty strong. Now I did just get off of a caffeine break, so this hit me decently harder than normally it would, but I think that that's probably a little bit more of a realistic setting for most of the consumers watching this, because I try out a different pre-workout almost every day of the year for work and normally have a pretty strong tolerance to stimulants. So in this case, I got to try it from a little bit more of a beginner or intermediate standard where my tolerances were rather low and my perception of the product was probably a little bit more accurate to most people. Without further ado, let's jump into this ingredient panel and talk about what Nutrex did with their Warrior line. So from the top, obviously we have the largest doses of ingredients. This is an 8.8 gram scoop, like I said before, so not a lot of huge scoops. If you want a full rounded performance pre-workout, their Outlift is one of my favorite classic full scoop pre-workouts. Warrior is going to be more of an intense pre-workout while still staying to the compliant side of Nutrex. We like Nutrex because they can make products for hardcore consumers, but they don't go overboard with gray area ingredients. They have a great manufacturer, so they're trying to bridge the gap here between their hardcore consumers but still staying compliant. First ingredient here we have is betaine anhydrous at 2.5 grams. Clinical dose, what we'd expect from Nutrex. Big fan of betaine anhydrous. It's a precursor to creatine. It helps as an osmolyte to pull water into the muscles. Great for pump, great for power output. Overall, great ingredient to start out with. You'll notice we did not start with citrulline. Citrulline is usually the first ingredient in pre-workouts. In this case, it's not, because the next ingredient, being the new ingredient, is actually kind of equivalent to using citrulline. We have 1 gram of inositol stabilized arginine silicate as Nitrosigine. Now, Nitrosigine is typically used at 1,500 milligrams. That's the full clinical dosage, but the claims do start at 750 milligrams, half of that. Now, they kind of split the difference and went right with the gram, so we're above the 750 minimum dosage where there are some claims, but we're slightly below the 1.5 gram dosage, which was studied at the University of Arkansas last year and shown to be equivalent to 6 grams of citrulline. So what we're looking at here, I would theorize is about the same as maybe 4 grams of citrulline, something that's going to start a pump, get some good blood flow going. It's not going to be as strong as your typical 1.5 grams, but it still works decently well. This is mostly a stimulant pre-workout. Mostly the effects that you're going to get are stimulant based, but there are some performance and pump and benefits in there as well. I noticed when I took this product that I got a decent pump. I did not get an insanely full pump that you expect from a nitrate product, from a really large pump blend. I got enough to deliver blood flow, but not to overly bloat out the muscle with too much blood. Some pump formulas, I get 3 exercises in and I can't even contract the muscle anymore. And at that point, I'm just wasting my time in the gym. Moving forward, we got creatine hydrochloride at 1 gram. I'm typically not a huge fan of creatine hydrochloride just because it's a little more expensive to use a full dose, being 5 grams. Most people will say that because it's more stable and it's not broken down in the gut as much, you can use less of it, but we all know that you really do need to be using 5 grams of creatine on a daily basis to get the full benefits. So unfortunately here, it's a bit of a detractor from the formula. Creatine hydrochloride, I'm just not really that big of a fan of. It is a fine source. There's nothing wrong with it, but because of the cost issues, I wish we could have seen 3 to 5 grams here, but it's better than nothing, obviously. Now, if we follow that up by 1 gram of choline bitartrate, choline bitartrate is generally seen as the minimum for choline sources. It's not a bad source. There are definitely better sources like CDP choline or alpha GPC or something like that. We don't know which isomer of choline bitartrate this is. It could very well be vitacholine, which is the L isomer, which is the more bioavailable isomer. It's more relevant to our bodies. I don't really have much of a comment on this other than the fact that it's at a full gram, which is a good dosage for choline bitartrate. I hope that it's the right form. Moving forward into L-tyrosine. Tyrosine is an awesome ingredient for focus. It's at 750 milligrams here, which is about the minimum dosage. Again, this is going to just start that mental acuity and nootropic feeling. And we have a bunch of different nootropic-y ingredients in here. So they are not really breaking the bank on any one of these ingredients, but the sum of all of these may be greater. What is it? The effects of all these together may be greater than the sum of them. I'm not really sure what that line is supposed to be. But what I'm trying to say is that they added so many different nootropic ingredients in here that I had a really profound effect, especially with the second to last ingredient. Tyrosine, I like really all the way up to like 3 grams, but that's a bit of an intense dosage. And like I said, with these other ingredients in here, they didn't have to really go too high in dosages to get a great effect. Caffeine anhydrous and caffeine citrate here. We've got 300 milligrams of caffeine anhydrous and 100 milligrams yield of caffeine from citrate. Caffeine citrate is 50% caffeine by weight, so you'll see 200 milligrams, but it's really yielding 100 milligrams. This is a total of 400 milligrams of caffeine, obviously. It's a lot of caffeine for most people. Me coming off of a caffeine detox, this hit me like a brick house. It's super strong, especially when you follow it up with theobromine, which is another stimulant, and a bit of, it can kind of heat you up. This combination of stuff was almost too much for me. My heart rate was jacked, but obviously I had just come off of a detox. I was gonna be hit a little bit harder from it. Most normal consumers are used to seeing around 250 to 300 milligrams of caffeine. This 400 milligrams of caffeine is going to be a little bit more intense, especially since the citrate is a fast-acting caffeine. We normally see anhydrous mixed with a slow-acting caffeine. Very infrequently do we see it with a faster one. So this is going to have a fast onset, and it's going to leave in about maybe an hour and a half to 2 hours. But it's going to be really intense during that time. And as long as you like that, it'll be good for you. I'm just starting this caution here as we get to the further into the formula that you need to be careful taking this product. If you're not comfortable with higher stim products, this might not be the product for you. If you want something that's compliant and can still knock your socks off, I would highly recommend you find this because it knocked my socks off. Now, the second to last ingredient here, we have Rauwolfia. Rauwolfia is a alpha yohimbe. It's actually at a 1.5 milligram dosage here. Now, Nutrex is formulated and manufactured at a great manufacturer in America. I'm not allowed to disclose to you where it is. I'm sure if you dug a little bit, you could probably find it out, but it's a manufacturer that we generally trust with these kinds of ingredients. Rauwolfia can be a little bit inconsistent, but wow, this one hit me hard. 1.5 milligrams is a bit of a strong dosage for most people. So like I said, if you're not used to higher stim products, I wouldn't recommend you try this one out. But if you are looking for something that can hit you hard, but you still want to stay with a compliant legal formula, this would be something to definitely look at. The days of DMAA and DMHA are over. They are on the way out. I don't personally trust almost any of it manufactured in America because unless I see testing or I know where it's coming from, it's just not going to be real. Yohimbe blends or yohimbe ingredients could be a very viable source of stimulant for people who are looking for that kind of level of stimulants. And this one was definitely no exception to that rule. I had cold sweats at the end of it. I was actually a bit uncomfortable towards the end of it, but it got me through a very intense leg session and I was happy with it. I admittedly forgot that there was Rauwolfia in the product when I took it, so I was a little bit surprised, but knowing what it's in it, I'd go into it just fine, and as long as I'm expecting the right thing. The last ingredient we have in here is tubed club moss, which is delivering huperzine A. Now, huperzine A helps break down acetylcholinesterase, which is the enzyme that breaks down acetylcholine. Acetylcholine is formed from choline sources, which we have choline bitartrate here at 1 gram. So this is going to be a little bit of a synergistic effect because choline bitartrate is creating acetylcholine in the body. Acetylcholine is used for mental processes, but it also is used for muscle contractions. So once it's formed in the body, there is an enzyme, like I said, acetylcholinesterase, that breaks down excess amounts of it in the body. And this huperzine A is going to make sure that it isn't broken down. So not only are you producing more, but you're holding it for longer. So you have a nice little 1-2 punch here. Overall, you have a pre-workout that is very stim heavy, between 400 milligrams of caffeine, 200 milligrams of theobromide, and 1.5 milligrams of raw wolfia. That's really going to kick you in the pants. I'm not kidding. It's strong. But then you also have some mental acuity things like the choline, the huperzine A, the tyrosine, and then you finish it off with some performance boosters like the creatine hydrochloride. Even though it's at 1 gram, it is a source of creatine, plus the nitrosigine and betaine anhydrous are going to help out with blood flow, hydration, and power output. Overall, it's a simple pre-workout. It's not over 10 grams, but it does work very well, and I definitely recommend that you try it out. If you're looking for something that's a little more hardcore, but not crossing into the barrier of unethical to manufacture or breaking GMP rules, it's something that I would definitely recommend. Nutrex has been a favorite of ours for a long time just because they stick to quality and well-manufactured, ethically manufactured products, but they might push the barriers over here and there because they do come from a background of being a hardcore company. In any case, this is running a little bit longer than I wanted it to for a simple product. If you did make it this far in the video, leave me a comment. I'd love to talk to you about the products. If you have any questions about Nutrex, you could go to PricePlow.com/NutrexResearch, or you can leave a comment below on any of these videos, and I'd love to talk about the product. I am usually pretty good about commenting back for comments, both on YouTube and Instagram TV. I already told you guys that I got this product for free. Obviously, there is some bias, in turn, because we do work with Nutrition 21. We have worked with Nutrex, but I think that I keep it pretty non-biased and just speak from the science and the actual ingredients. If you enjoyed the video, leave a comment for me. I'd love to talk to you about it. In any case, thanks so much for watching, guys, and have a great day.
Welcome to PricePlow.